Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great myself, but I'm also a little upset at the same time, because unfortunately my winter break is coming to an end. At the time of this video going up, I will be heading back to school tomorrow. Now don't worry, I'm not disappearing, I'll still be uploading. It's just, it might be a little slower for a couple days or a week or so, because I gotta get used to all my new classes and my new schedule and all that stuff. But yeah, with that aside, we are back to take a look at another PlayStation fanboy, who thinks there is no reason whatsoever to own an Xbox. Yeah, it's one of those guys. Even though the Series X and S have sold over 20 million consoles at this point, and in some countries like the United States, Xbox is actually the more popular console. Makes you wonder why people say there's no reason to own one. But yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right into this.
So the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X is set to come out later on this year, and I pretty much have my mind made up as far as what system I'm gonna end up getting. Now, it pains me to say that I'm going to end up getting a PS5 because I'm a long-time Xbox fan and I've been supporting the system since the very first one that came out. But even I have to admit, as a supporter of Xbox, that the last two consoles that they came up with, including the Series X, I've been very disappointed. And this is only because Xbox One and even now the Xbox Series X has failed to give me any reason to want to purchase their console.
Let me take a wild guess. No Musclusives. Even though there's plenty of Microsoft first-party games that aren't on PlayStation. And to anybody who says, oh, well, they're on PC as well, not everybody wants to spend thousands of dollars to get a good gaming PC. Not everybody can afford to do so. And also, more and more PlayStation games are coming to PC every single year. As JTech pointed out, Sony actually released more games on PC than PlayStation this year. And I guarantee within the next year or two, I'll be chilling playing God of War Ragnarok on my PC.
Other than the fact that Xbox has been great in their backwards compatibility, it's like, what's the point of getting the Xbox? Like, I'm not getting the Xbox One or Xbox Series X just so I can play some old ass Xbox games that I had fun with when I was about, what, 10 years old? Now, the one thing that the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X had going for them was their specs. Their systems were able to play games at a higher resolution with higher quality. But then again, it's like, what's the point of having those specs if you're not going to have the games I want to play on those specs?
Well, I mean, what games do you want to play? If you want to play Sony's games, then yeah, get a PlayStation or wait for them to come to PC. But if it's a third-party multi-plat game, then Xbox is still going to be getting those new games. I swear, these people always act like, oh, Xbox isn't making any new games. No new games are releasing whatsoever, even third-party games. It's only backwards compatibility. Call of Duty isn't coming out anymore, the new Battlefields. None of the new big AAA games are coming out on Xbox anymore. No, dude, all those games are still coming out. And I'm not trying to put words in anybody's mouth. I'm not saying that's what they are saying. I'm just saying that's how they make it sound, because they're like, oh, all the Xbox has going for it is backwards compatibility, and that's it. It just makes it sound like nothing new is coming to the Xbox at all, which is completely false.
And even then, the person could argue that if they really cared about specs that much, they could just go and buy a $500 to $600 gaming PC, and they'll just be fine. It's funny that we in 2020 and Xbox is still trying to shove this Halo and Gears of War shit down my throat and tell me that these are the games I should be excited for when purchasing or pre-ordering an Xbox Series X.
If a person wants really good specs for $500, they're gonna get a console. At least one of these newer consoles. These new consoles are an insane value for $500. You are not gonna be able to build a PC close to these things for anywhere near $500. It's probably gonna be close to $1,000 or so, probably even a little higher. But again, with all the PlayStation games coming to PC, you can make the same argument for that. But as for Microsoft shoving Gears and Halo down your throat, Sony hasn't been great about, new IPs for their new console. I mean, what was at launch? A sequel to Spider-Man, a remake of a PS3 game, that of course being Demon's Souls, and not really much else. And what have we gotten since then? More sequels like Ratchet and Clank. And then this year we're getting another Spider-Man game. It's just kind of hypocritical to call out Microsoft for not really having many new IPs or anything, when as far as I know, Sony hasn't really had many new IPs lately. And even then, I guarantee for every new PlayStation IP from this generation, you could probably name an Xbox one as well.
Bro, don't get me wrong, I understand that Halo is one of the founding fathers of multi-online gaming and all this other shit, but I don't care about Halo at all. I never was a fan of Halo. I feel like Halo is for the people who just want to go online and troll and teabag people all day. And then as far as Gears of War, like I had my fun with Gears of War already, like on the 360. Like it should have ended at the 3, right? At the 2, I was pretty much done with the series. So why do you feel like a part 4, a part 5, and now a upcoming part 6 would be something that Xbox fans want? Like if you're gonna make that one of the main things that sells your consoles, then that's the issue.
I'm gonna be completely honest, that statement right there really rubbed me the wrong way. Because it's something that fanboys do a lot, don't get me wrong, but this dude was like so profound about it. I don't know what it was, this really rubbed me the wrong way. But dude, you do not speak for the majority of the Xbox player base. Just because you do not care about Gears and Halo doesn't mean other people don't. Especially since right at the end he said, why do you think that's something people want? Maybe because all the games have sold millions of copies, and Gears 5 actually had pretty good feedback from what I remember. Don't quote me on that though, I've never been a Gears fan. I'm just basically going off of Metacritic scores and my general memory of people talking about the game. And also, despite Halo 5, you know, having a ton of issues, especially with the campaign and the microtransactions, it was still a massive financial success and it retained players for multiple years. I'm pretty sure like 2 years after the game came out, it hit like a record high player count or something like that. So of course they're gonna make more of those games. And again, just because you don't care about them doesn't mean other people don't. Do you remember all the hype for Infinite? People were so excited for it. And I don't think the campaign disappointed, but the multiplayer on the other hand, yeah, I don't think we really need to talk about that.
And also, this whole idea of putting batteries inside of an Xbox controller, that shit has to stop now, man. Like, it's unacceptable that y'all call yourselves the future of gaming. Y'all still do 2001 shit like put batteries on the back of y'all controllers. Like, come on. Like, and if you really think about it, how different is an Xbox Series X from an Xbox One X? Because if you take away the fact that the Xbox Series X has crazy specs, what are you really missing out on? You know, it ain't like the Series X is getting any bomb exclusives of anything. So if I was to buy an Xbox One X, like, will I be straight with just that? Because I'm pretty sure the specs ain't that far apart from each other.
Tell me you know nothing about these consoles without telling me you know nothing about these consoles. The Series X is far more powerful than the One X. If it wasn't, then millions of people wouldn't be upgrading, and the Xbox One X would still be getting next-gen games. And speaking of next-gen games, especially recently, obviously at the time this video was made, this doesn't really apply, but very soon we're pretty much only going to be getting next-gen games. From what I know, the support for the Xbox One and the PS4 is starting to dry up. Games are getting too big and too demanding to run on these older consoles. But even without these true next-gen games, the new consoles are running old games far better than the Xbox One X could ever hope to. If the specs were basically the same, then how come the Series X and S can hit 120 FPS and the One X can't? And how come the Series X and S have way better graphics and resolutions? It's because they're not similar in power at all. The Series X and S absolutely curb stomp the Xbox One. So even if there are no, as you like to say, bombing exclusives, you're still able to play the games that were on the previous generations in much better forms. And on top of that, if you bought one of these consoles back when they came out, you're kind of future-proofing your setup. Because like I said, we're starting to get to the point where the Xbox One and PS4 aren't really being supported anymore. So instead of having to scramble around to try and find a console amidst all the scalpers and everything, if you bought one of these consoles back when they first came out, not only were you getting the better experience then, but you don't have to worry about scrambling around to get a new console now. It's like if I bought an 8K 120Hz TV. Obviously, games can do nowhere near that right now unless you're on like a 4090 and you have all the graphics set to minimum. But by buying it, I can take advantage of what it has to offer now, and I'm future-proofed, so I don't have to be scrambling around a while from now. It's called an informed purchase. Then again, you don't really seem to be informed on many things with the Xbox, considering you thought the power of the One X and the Series X was almost identical.
And then they can do the same things like backwards compatibility and etc. And plus, the chances of games still being released on the PS4 and the Xbox One are still highly likely. So what am I really doing when I'm spending, what, $600 to $700 on an Xbox Series X versus me just buying an Xbox One X? Like, come on, man. And not to make it seem like PlayStation has godly online or anything, but even your online Xbox has felt like it's been slipping a little bit. And that's what y'all pretty much been known for most of y'all time, especially with the 360. So what the hell is going on?
I'm sorry, how has Xbox Live been slipping? Don't get me wrong, the games they offer every month are complete trash, but it's not like the servers are getting worse or anything. And look, I'll kind of give him the benefit of the doubt on this one point where he says 600 or 700 bucks because at the time we didn't know what the price was. But come on, dude, everybody knew they were not gonna dare charge $600 or $700 for these consoles. I don't think anybody actually thought that. Again, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that because technically we didn't know at the time, but at the same time, come on, I don't think anybody actually thought that they were gonna bother charging $600.
Now, I understand video games trying to be innovative and turn their video game consoles into home consoles, but there's negatives to that, right? Because you lose your core audience. Most people who buy a PlayStation or Xbox, they buy it to play their games with their friends, maybe watch YouTube, Twitch, Netflix, Hulu here and there, and that's about it. We don't buy these consoles so that we can watch DVDs with the family or do any type of, like, any other extra shit, like get on the internet. Like, we have other things that can help us with that. Like, don't get me wrong, it's great that you guys have those things, but those things shouldn't be something that you focus on more so than the video game part of your console.
Okay, this point just doesn't even make sense at all. You're acting like their whole marketing strategy for these new consoles is look at this incredible 8K Blu-ray player. No, dude, that's just something they threw in on the side and it's a little extra bonus. It's not like that's their whole selling point or anything. I agree that consoles and games need to stay true to what makes them successful, but adding a little bonus feature as a nice little extra thing isn't gonna hurt the brand at all. Hell, the best-selling console of all time, the PlayStation 2, was the first console to have a DVD drive in it. This point honestly just feels like complaining for the sake of complaining. Because again, it's not like their whole marketing point is, oh, look at the Blu-ray and DVD drive. I mean, hell, the Series S doesn't even have a drive at all. Again, it's just a nice little side thing. When I order a burger from a restaurant, it usually comes with like a side of honey mustard or something. That doesn't ruin the burger for me or make me want to buy it less. Sure, I don't use the honey mustard, but I don't complain about it either. It's just a nice little add-on.
Because now you're losing your fan base that came here or even bought your system for the video game aspect of your console. Plus, having all those damn apps on your gaming console can make your shit run slow as hell. Like, if you have a lot of apps running on your damn console, then the minute you turn on your damn Xbox or PlayStation, that shit will start to lag like crazy. So having too many media apps is not a good thing. Just stick to the ones that most people use, like I said earlier, like Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, ESPN, YouTube. Just keep it simple with the apps and just have us have a good experience with our games and let our systems not be affected by the amount of apps that you have on your gaming console.
Okay, hear me out, dude. I have an idea for you. Maybe don't run those apps in the background while you're playing video games. Or better yet, if you don't use the apps, you could just uninstall them. You're acting like the Series X is being marketed like a Roku stick or something like that, where its whole purpose is just to like play Amazon Prime and Netflix and stuff like that. No, dude, video games are still at the core. It's not a bad thing that you can also use your streaming services from the console. And again, games have been and always will be the primary focus for these consoles. They're not making the focus on like a Blu-ray player or the fact that you can use Netflix. And again, if you don't want the apps slowing down your console, then don't have them running in the background while you're playing games and /or uninstall them.
Now, even though I am over here going in on the Xbox consoles, it comes from a place of heart. It comes from a fan being frustrated over the last 5-some odd years of the Xbox just being mediocre. Like, they can do better. They already doing one part good as far as making the games look good. Now give us some games to play. And also, I just want to say this, I am going to end up getting both the consoles at some point. I just hope that the Xbox gets some games on that console that make me want to get it even sooner, because I'm not in a rush to buy an Xbox Series X at all. Like I said, I could just buy an Xbox One X and I'm cool.
I mean, totally, dude. If you don't see the value in upgrading from the One X to the Series X, then by all means, don't do it. If you don't want the higher frame rates or the faster load times or whatever, and you're perfectly content with the One X, then yeah, by all means. Wait until there's some true next-gen games if that's what drives you. But complaining that you can download download more apps to your Xbox now and that you can use your Xbox as like a DVD player, that's honestly just such a dumb complaint. Especially when PlayStation is doing the exact same thing. So I don't see how this is just an Xbox problem.
You know, but the PlayStation 5, at least I know if I buy their console, I'm guaranteed games that I'm gonna want to play. I can name at least 3 of them right now that I want to play. Demon Souls, the Ratchet & Clank, Spider-Man, etc, etc. Shit, even the new Resident Evil game coming out. I don't know if that's a PlayStation exclusive, but that is one of the games that I am going to want to play. So like, yeah.
Again, this dude showing how little he knows. Resident Evil is not exclusive to PlayStation. It came out on Xbox and PC as well. So that game doesn't even make sense. Also, I find it a little funny that this dude was complaining earlier that Microsoft is just making sequels to old games, when every single game he just mentioned is either a sequel to an older game or a remake of an old game. You're saying Microsoft's giving nothing new, even though they were, but then you say all the games you want to play on PlayStation are more sequels and remakes. Obviously, no issue with you wanting to play those games, but when you make the point of, oh, there's just more sequels coming out on Xbox, and then you say the games that you want to play on PlayStation are more sequels, it's just a little hypocritical.
And PlayStation, y'all better make them damn controllers stronger, because these PS4 controllers are mad fucking cheap, and they break easily. So yeah, and you need to fix the port on the controller as well, because y'all, it seems like y'all make y'all controllers very fragile on purpose, because y'all know that them damn controllers gonna cost like $60. On top of that, now I'm thinking about it, the games is gonna be like $70 now. Yeah, so Xbox, get your shit together, because now that games is going up to like $70 now, you really need to give me a reason for why I need to buy y'all consoles.
Okay, I think all logic has officially left the station at this point. So because PlayStation games cost $70, that means Xbox needs to step it up. Yes, I'm aware that soon Microsoft is going to start charging $70 for their games. I'm pretty sure Starfield is going to be $70. But back when this video was released, people had no idea. I don't know where he got that article from that he was showing on screen, but nobody knew if Microsoft was going to make their games $70 or not. I guarantee, if anything, I'm going to give the article the benefit of the doubt and say that they were probably talking about games like Call of Duty, where the Xbox One edition is $60, but the Xbox Series editions are $70. But good God, I cannot believe we have reached the point where fanboys are saying that Microsoft needs to step it up because Sony is doing something anti-consumer.
So yeah, get it together. But other than that, I just need to get this off my chest as far as both the consoles, because I'm really been thinking about which one I'm gonna get. And even though the Xbox in me is, you know, the Xbox fanboy in me is telling me to get an Xbox, because I had a PlayStation this whole year pretty much, or ever since the PS4 and Xbox One been out. Like, I want to get an Xbox, but then it's like they're making it really hard for me to get one, because the PlayStation 5 just has so many good things going for them right now. Except for the backwards compatibility, but hey, give me some new games and I'll gladly play those before I play a backwards compatibility game. So yeah, but other than that, that's all, man. That's all I gotta say. It's your boy Trigger Senpai, and I'm out, man. Peace.
I mean, the only things you've mentioned in this video that the PS5 has going for it over the Xbox is that they're releasing some sequels to already existing games, which you said you didn't like about the Xbox. And you also pointed out how they're starting to charge $70 when Microsoft isn't, and then you're telling Microsoft to get it together because of that. But don't worry, dude, you definitely don't have to worry about being an Xbox fanboy, because I think this video has proven you are far from one. But yeah, anyway, guys, with that being said, that's gonna do it for this video. Basically, what we learned today is Microsoft needs to step it up because Sony is being anti-consumer and charging $70 for games. And we also learned that the Xbox is losing its focus from games and focusing on being a DVD and Blu-ray player, as well as having too many apps for you to download. So yeah, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you all next time.